And making sure our foam roller is supporting our spine from our tailbone up to our head. Let's walk our feet out a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. Let our shoulders relax down and our arms soften to the floor. And close our eyes. As we take a moment to connect with our breath, feel it soften our body. Now, while we pause on this foam roller, let's take a moment to check in with our spine, feeling the natural curves of our spine. Start from our tailbone, feeling the backward curve through the back of our hips, the upward curve through our low back, and the downward curve through mid back to upper back, and the upward curve through our neck. And begin to slowly rock side to side in a small, subtle movement. Encouraging movement of the pelvis through the back of our hips, encouraging movement through the shoulder blades and our upper back. Feeling the gravity of moving side to side as we massage out the areas of our back that are in contact with the foam roller. And come back to center. Let's walk our feet in a little bit narrower and then roll off our foam roller and let it slide out from underneath us. Placing it nearby but off to the side, let's draw our knees into our chest, give them a hug. Notice how this feels, and not just our low back, but our upper back. Begin to rock our head side to side. Notice how the movement of our neck feels. Bringing our head back to center, let's rock our whole body side to side. As we move with core stability, notice how this feels on the back of our body. So Kind of checking in with a little movement. Come back to center. Let's extend our right leg forward. Let it hover above the floor. Feel the natural curve of our low back. Feel our belly stabilize. And then switch legs. And switch. And switch. Finding core stability through movement. And then we're going to hug our left knee into our chest. Take our right leg out just a little bit, so out to the side, about halfway. Bring it back in, and then switch our legs. Take our left foot out a little bit wider. Bring it back in, and switch legs. Right leg out a little bit wider, still hovering above the floor. Bring it back in, and switch. Left leg out a little bit wider. Bring it back in, and switch. Take it out a little bit wider, bring it back in, and switch. Doesn't have to be a big movement. We're just kind of working through the hips a little bit, waking them up. And find one more time each side. And bring both knees into our chest, give them a hug. Releasing our feet down to the mat. Let's open up our arms up to the ceiling and then back behind us to a place that honors us. Feel the front of our ribs, right at the bottom of our ribs. Feel that hug down so that we're creating a base of support for our shoulders by engaging the core. Holding, lengthening through our lats, back of our back and the side of our shoulders, feeling everything kind of soften and let go. Everything except for our core. And again, this isn't a crunch. This isn't super intense. It's just subtly hugging those bellies in. On our next exhale, let's bring our arms back to our side. And we're going to flow. So walk our feet in a little bit closer to our hips. We're going to lift our hips up, lift our arms, bring them back behind us. And then exhale, lower our arms to our side and lower our hips. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring it down. Flow with your breath, your speed that honors your body. If you're needing to build heat, maybe you're moving quicker. You need to relax, maybe you're moving slower. Let's flow a couple more times. And lowering our hips and our arms down to the mat. We're going to roll over to one side, come up to seated, grab a hold of our foam roller and place it horizontally back behind us. And then we're going to place our hands on our foam roller and lower down so that mid-back, so this is above our low back, is going to rest on the foam roller. And then we're going to take our hands behind our head to help support our head, walk our feet in towards our hips. Lift our hips up, and we're going to roll down to mid-back and then up to upper back. And I want you to just kind of roll through that mid-section. So we're not going deep into the low back. We're not going deep into the shoulders. We're just kind of focusing on that center place where we can roll successfully. And remember, moving with success is without pain or discomfort. You might hear popping noises along the way, and as long as it's not painful, it's fine. You can expand your movement as it feels okay for you. And then come back to mid-back. We're going to lower our hips down, extend our legs forward. So we're creating a foundation for our upper body. We're keeping mid-back on the foam roller, and I want you to listen to your body as you slowly lower your head back behind you, opening up your chest up to the ceiling. Then exhale, come back up. And I want you to start with a small movement. And as your body begins to trust the movement, you can lower down a little bit more. If this is uncomfortable on your low back, bend your knees and then scoop your tailbone. Either way, whether legs extended or knees bent, we're still creating that foundation by finding a solid foundation through our lower body. So you're scooping the tailbone, lifting the tailbone up to the ceiling if your knees are bent. If your legs are extended, you're squeezing your upper thighs towards each other, driving the back of your hips into the floor. Noticing the range of motion that you've built by moving slowly into that progression. So we started off smaller and moved a little bit bigger as it felt right for us. Let's find one more time. Come back up. Let's release our hands from our head. Forearms will come to the foam roller. We're going to rise up and release the foam roller off to the side. Come to standing at the front of our mat. From our standing position, let's inhale, sweep our hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend our knees, hinge forward from our hips, and lower down. Let our head hang, neck and shoulders relax. Noticing that here we're rounding our upper back, mid back, and low back. Inhale, lift halfway, finding a flat back. Exhale, lower down. Walk both feet back. Lower down to our bellies. And then inhale, lift our chest, turn our gaze forward. And stay at our side, elbows are hugged in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise back up. So same movement, just from a different position. Noticing how it feels. Then we're going to challenge this movement by sliding our hands out a little bit, lowering down, and rising back up. Then we're going to lift our hands up off the floor and then put our hands back down as we lower. Inhale, rise up, lifting our hands. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Flowing with your breath, we're going to have options to make this a little more challenging, but we're moving in ways that are successful. On the next time we rise up, let's extend our arms out, maybe halfway to a Y. Then lower down. Come back up and lower down. Listening to how a few of these feel. Finding that opportunity to pause and relax between each lift. Maybe extend our arms out a little bit more. And then lower down and relax, sliding our hands underneath our forehead. Encouraging our neck to soften all the way down our spine to our tailbone. And extend our arms out in front of us so that our hands are fully extended, arms are fully extended. And we're going to lift our right arm up off the floor and lift our left leg. Lower back down. Gaze is going to stay forward, so we're going to keep our head lifted. Then left arm, right leg. Lower down, right arm, left leg. Lower down and switch. Continuing to flow. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we lower. Let's find one more. Lower down, slide our hands underneath our forehead and relax. Sliding our arms out to the side. Let's lower our forehead down to the mat. And we're going to lift our right foot, then our right knee, pressing our hip into the floor. We're going to start to lift our right hip, reach our right foot over to the left. Now I want you to move with core stability. So your belly's hugged in, supporting your low back. Then you're going to slowly lower your hip down, followed by your knee and then your foot. Lift your left foot, lift your left knee. Feel how your hip drives into the floor. So we're just engaging the glute muscle, feeling support there. Then lift your hip. You don't want to lift your hip without the glute being engaged. You can bend your knee, keep your legs straight, whatever feels best for you. Then lower your hip, knee, foot down to the floor. And then we're going to start to add head movement. So gaze comes to the right as we lift our right leg. And then lower down, bringing our head to center. And then turn our head to the left as we lift our left leg. And lower down. We're finding spinal movement while opening up our hip. Moving slow and controlled. Let's find one more time each side. Then come back down, slide our hands to the side of our chest, hug our bellies in a lot. Press up and back to child's pose. Rising up into downward facing dog. Remembering that you can choose puppy pose. You can take your arms out wide. You can find any variation of this downward facing dog that honors your body and the places and locations you need. Walking forward to the front of our mat. And fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bending our knees a lot, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back, lunge. Straighten our front leg, walking our hands back. If you have blocks and you want to put your hands on blocks, feel free to do so. We're stretching the back of our right heel all the way up through our calf. We're stretching to the back of our left hamstring, the left upper thigh. You could be focusing on back strength, maybe turning your gaze forward, flattening your back, or you can round and fold. Making sure that you feel supported in this position. We're going to bend our right knee a little bit and drive our right knee down to the floor, working a little bit deeper into the calf. And then straighten our leg, drive our heel down. Bending our knee, drive it down towards the floor. And then shoot our heel back. Bending our knee, driving it down, and extend our leg. A couple more times on your own. And then straighten our leg and hold. We're going to walk our hands forward or walk our blocks forward. Bend our front knee, lift our back foot and hold. Then put our foot down underneath us, rounding our back, letting our head hang. Step our left foot back, long stance, find that lunge. Then straighten our front leg, shifting our weight into our back foot a little bit. Again, same options apply. You can have hands on blocks, you can round your back, you can extend your heart. Do what your body needs. And we're going to work a little bit deeper into the calf. So bending our left knee, drive it down. And then slowly extend our leg. Bending our knee, drive it down. And extend our leg. Bend our knee, drive it down. And extend our leg. A couple more times on our own. And straighten our leg, bend our front knee, walk our hands forward, and lift our back leg and hold. And lower our foot down and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, lower them down to the mat. We're going to find a few cat-cows. Inhaling, opening the front of our body. Exhaling, rounding. Flowing with your breath. Come back to a neutral spine. Let's rock our hips side to side. Shoulders move in opposite direction. Releasing any tension in the knees, the hips. Spine stays neutral. Come back to center. Lift our right knee, draw it in towards our chest, shoot it out to the side, then rotate, turning our knee back and our foot up, and then sweep the knee that's on the floor, and then draw it back into your chest. This time I want you to turn your knee out and your foot in, lift it up, and then rotate. Turn your foot up, knee back, bring it down, sweep your standing knee, draw your knee into your chest, then turn your knee out, toes in, lift your knee up. So toes are pointing down towards the floor, that general direction. Then shoot your knee back and start to rotate your foot up. And then bring it down, sweep your standing knee, draw your knee into your chest, then take your knee out, lift your knee up, Turn your knee back, turn your toes up, and then sweep your standing leg. We're going to do it one more time. Knee in, knee out, lift up, rotate, bring it down, sweep your standing knee, and then put your knee down. Rock your hips side to side. If this is uncomfortable on your wrists or your hands, take fists for wrists. This will also help you give you more space to move your legs underneath you. Bring your hips back to center. Draw your left knee into your chest. Sweep your left knee out to the side. Lift your left knee up. Kick your left knee back, toes up. Then sweep your standing leg. Draw your knee back underneath you. Take your knee out, lift it up. Kick your knee back, turning your toes up. And then sweep your standing leg. Bring your knee into your chest. Take your knee out, lift it up. Kick your knee back, turning your toes up. Sweep your standing leg. Knee into your chest. Knee out, up, back, underneath you. Drawing it in towards your chest. We've got a couple more. Knee out, back, underneath you, sweeping your standing leg. Last one. Knee back, sweep your standing leg, draw your knee into your chest, then put it down. Rock your hips side to side. Come back to center, curling our toes under. Draw our hips back towards our heels. Come back up, and then hips back. Toes are curled under. And come forward. And then we got one more, hips back. And then forward. With our toes curled under, lift our knees, walk forward to the front of our mat, and fold. Make fists with our hands and extend our fingers. Make fists, extend. Make fists, extend. Continue. Then roll out our wrists. And then bending our knees, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Releasing our hands to our side. We're going to step our right foot back halfway so that our heel comes down to the floor. Bend our front knee. Take our left hand to our thigh, lean forward halfway. Take our right hand, sweep it forward, and then back. And then move quickly, just sweeping forward and back. Then let our arm relax all on its own. Wiggle our fingers, our hand, our wrist. And then step our right foot forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Releasing our hands to our side, step our left foot back halfway. Feet remain hip width distance apart for balance. Bending our right knee, take our right hand to our thigh, lean forward. We're keeping a flat back. Left hand, take it forward and then back. Then pick up the pace. Warming up our shoulder joint, creating movement. Then let it relax. And wiggle our fingers, our hands, our wrists. And then slowly step our back foot forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, fold. Bending our knees, lowering them down to the mat. Let's flip over onto our back. And then we're gonna set up for Shavasana, and I'm gonna give you a couple options. You can choose the traditional version, maybe placing your foam roller underneath your knees, or you're gonna have the option of placing it back behind you, but scoot forward enough so that your hips can remain on the floor and your foam roller supports you from low back up. So choosing whichever version honors you. And as you lower down, closing your eyes. drawing our awareness back to our bodies. Let our breath begin to deepen. If you have your foam roller underneath your spine, walk your hands closer to the foam roller, lift your head up, and then press your hands into the floor to lift your elbows and find your way back to a comfortable seat. You're in a more traditional lying down version with the foam roller underneath your knees. Bend your knees, place your feet on the foam roller and roll it away. And then you're going to roll over to your right side and come up to seated. When we find our way to a seated position, rise up tall through our spine and ask ourselves, did we explore our bodies today? And when did we do so honoring our bodies? Placing our hands together in front of our heart, sealing in all that we found, all that we learned, and all that we walked away from. Place it in our heart as a gift we can continue to use through movement off of our mat. Namaste.